And now to the other side of the country and an industry regrouping after its own crisis earlier in the year, uranium mining. It was the first day of the biggest annual uranium conference, and I'm joined now live from Perth by the Chief Executive of the Australian Uranium Association, Mike Angwin. Mike, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tiki.
Well, day one of the conference, what's the mood over there?
Today was lively, it was positive and it was upbeat, and I think that reflects the way in which the companies in the uranium industry, both those operating in Australia and those operating elsewhere, see the future. So it was lively and upbeat today, I think, Tiki.
It's extraordinary when you think how damaging that incident was in Japan for the industry and how it has checked it. So what are the prospects now on the demand side, given that Germany has now banned nuclear power, and also Switzerland and recently Italy too?
I think despite those things, Tiki, the fundamentals for the uranium market are still the same as they were on the 11th of March. Three things are driving the demand for nuclear power, and in turn those drive the demand for uranium. One is economic and population growth, and countries want to increase their supplies of electricity because the citizens of their countries want to be as wealthy as we are. So lots and lots of electricity is what countries want. The second thing is that countries want energy security. They want a variety of sources of electricity, and they want a variety of suppliers. And the third thing which is driving demand is the need for clean energy. And nuclear power supplied by uranium is a very clean form of energy. So those three fundamentals have not changed.
I guess one issue is China's enthusiasm, which seems to know no bounds in minerals generally, but uranium, we're just looking at a bid at the moment for Bannerman resources by Hanlong, and that's an asset that's sitting there in Africa. Were you surprised at that bid?
No, I'm not, and in a sense it reflects the circumstances we're in. And whilst it's true that the market reacted badly to the events in Fukushima, in a sense that's created some opportunities, I think, and that's what I think you're seeing from the mergers and acquisitions activity which has been occurring over the last few months, not only China but also from Russia.
Yeah, it's created opportunities, but it's created opportunities for our overseas buyers. And one thing that Fukushima did was it reduced the value of our Australian companies. The stocks took a hiding, and now there are presumably some very easy deals to be had as these assets are being picked off.
I think that it's certainly true that companies in China and Russia have seen some opportunities there. But what it also tells you is that, and China and Russia are only two examples, that countries like those want to increase their supply of nuclear power, and they want to assure their supplies of uranium. And so I think that's a very positive development for our industry, not only in Australia but elsewhere as well.
Let me bring you back to Western Australia, because that's where a lot of the growth will come from. There are 4 mines coming on in the next few years. But it's a very difficult political situation, isn't it? Because while federal Labor seem to be broadening their views on uranium, state Labor in Western Australia is still very against it. And you've got an election, in a couple of years' time. So you've only got the Liberal government potentially for a couple of years.
We are used to there being a diverse range of views in the political market, if I can put it that way, and we believe that the development of our industry in Western Australia will proceed well, and I think there's a lot of confidence that construction of mines will begin next year or early the year after, and the Labor Party in Western Australia still has some time to reconsider its position. It's not a sustainable position. It's a position which is out of line with the views that Australians have about the resources industry, and it's out of line with the views that they have about the uranium industry. If you think of it in this way,
yes.
If you think of it in this way, Tiki, that this is an issue of sovereign risk that the Labor Party in Western Australia has created, and imagine how investors in Beijing or Zurich or London or New York would see this if they saw a government in a mining state like Western Australia attempt to close down and operate.
Well, I see the existing government putting a 5% royalty on future production. What sort of an impact is that likely to have on the industry?
That royalty, the 5% royalty, is a mainstream royalty for a mainstream product, and certainly it's a bit early, given that the minister only announced this today, for companies to have taken a decision or taken a view about the impact that will have. But they will absorb what the minister has said, and they will factor it into their calculations. All minerals are subject to royalties, and this is the first time that our industry has had a royalty rate struck for it. We believe that there was an argument for a lesser rate of royalty based upon the extent of processing of the mineral in Western Australia, but the government hasn't accepted that view. Yep. But it's the mainstream royalty rate, and companies will consider the impact of that.
All right. Well, I don't hear you squealing.
I'm not any less confident.
All right. I don't hear you.
I'm not any.
No, I understand. I don't hear you squealing that much. But Mike Angwin, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Tikki.